Good news for you on this Sunday morning. If your driver's license expired during lockdown, don't stress. The Transport Department announced on an extension until the end of November. The Automobile Association of South Africa petitioned for the extension. AA spokesperson Leighton Beard joins me now. Leighton, very good morning. Now, you petitioned for this extension. You had the hashtag extend the license, which was, I think you had about 20,000 odd signatures on that one. What was your main concern? Why were you fighting for this?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Tony. I don't want to give the impression that the fight is entirely over, but our main concern is that there are backlogs with the system. Those backlogs have just been compounded by the lockdown, and with the closure of DLTC's driving license testing centres intermittently because of COVID, and because these centres are working on skeleton staff, it's unlikely that people whose vehicle licenses or driving licenses or any other form of licenses will be renewed, or they will be able to renew it within the time frame that was given, which was the end of August. We've asked for the period to be extended to the end of January 2021. So although we welcome the fact that the extension has now been made until the end of November, we think it's not going to be sufficient, and we think it does need to be extended further than that. And hopefully the Department of Transport reviews their extension towards the end of October going into November.
Your main concern is the festive season, is it not?
Yeah, it is obviously one of the concerns that we've got. I mean, Tony, when you look at the DLTCs that are closed at the moment, it's very difficult for people to get bookings. And those same centres are going to be closed over the festive period going into the new year. So it's just going to be backlogs, compounding on backlogs, compounding on backlogs. And people want to remain legitimate. People want to do the right thing. But if they can't do it, we feel that they need to be given some extension.
You're also critical of the National Traffic Information System, the NATIS system. Why is that?
It is problematic for people to book online. We have expressed concerns in the past about that, Tony. People struggle to get booking dates. There aren't enough available for them to do that, even in districts that are in the same areas which they live. So many people understand that they can't just go to one specific centre, and they need to spread the workload. But even so, people certainly the information that we get from people who phone us complain that they're very concerned that the system doesn't allow them to do that. So that has resulted in backlogs even before the lockdown began. And, like I said earlier, with the lockdown, it just compounded those problems, and we're seeing it being compounded every day, Tony.
So which licenses does this affect?
It basically affects all licenses. We're obviously waiting for directives from the Department of Transport, but in discussions with some of the officials over the weekend, it does include all licenses, so learners' licenses that expired, PRDPs, driving licenses, obviously vehicle license discs. It includes all of these licenses, and it includes them even though they may have expired after 31st of May. So any licenses that have expired after that are also covered until the end of November.
Okay, Leighton, lastly, all this also is dependent on the traffic officers on the road. If my license is expired, are the traffic officers on the same page as the ministry? Are they aware of these directives?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think, Tony, that obviously is a question that needs to be directed to the Road Traffic Management Corporation. But we have found that unfortunately it doesn't. We have a lot of people writing and phoning us on a daily basis. And some of them are telling us, yes, it does filter through, but some of them are telling us, no, it doesn't. So one of the things we certainly would like to see is that this is communicated to all traffic officials throughout the country, and that people who have expired licenses are not fined, and that a legal case is taken against them for having an expired license. They certainly are valid until the end of November.
What can one do if that happens?
Yeah, difficult question to answer. I think basically you need to, impress upon the fact that these licenses are legal. I think we are waiting for the directives to come from the Department of Transport. As soon as they are there, we will publish them and we will send them to our members. But I would urge people to print those out if they can. And then certainly, obviously, if you're in that situation, I think, just impress upon the officer that your license is valid. You can make representations afterwards, Tony. But unfortunately, when you're in that situation, you're just going to have to deal with it as a fine and move on.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Leighton Beard, there from the Automobile Association of South Africa. So an extension has been granted for licenses until the end of November.